Hey guys, how are you today? I hope you guys are all good. Um, yeah, I'm doing a preview of the clay court season, right? That's what my video today is about. So I hope you guys are ready for tennis on the red dirt. Actually, it's crushed brick on top of limestone, but that's another story. It's not actually clay. But let's just call it the red dirt just for the sake of it. So I hope you guys are having a good week. I hope everything is good. Let's get into it now. So the reason for my title was that Nadal is chasing GOAT status, right? Because he is, right? If you look at the situation, there'll be three Masters 1000 this clay court season, right? If you look at the Masters 1000, Djokovic has the most. He has one more. So as far as having the most Masters 1000, some could say that's a really important thing for the GOAT debate. Others wouldn't. But it's at least got some impact. No one can deny that because it's a tournament where all the best players are playing, and it's like about 9 times a year, about um, as opposed 4 times. So you get to see the best players going at it more times. But Federer is, I believe, third. But Djokovic and Nadal, I know they're top two, and I know Djokovic has one more, right? So with three Masters 1000 on clay, if Nadal wins one more than Djokovic, they would be tied, right? Two more, he would have the most. Three more, he would be two ahead. So basically, as far as that part of the GOAT status, that's on the line for Nadal if he has a good year in Monte Carlo and Madrid and Rome, right? So that's one point of all this. Um, and if he was to win two and then Djokovic won, they would still be tied. So that's an improvement. He's behind instead of tied. If he won two and Thiem won one, he would be the like. It wouldn't be a tie. It wouldn't be a debate. It would be Nadal's outright the most Masters 1000. Um, but if he wins all three, then nothing. He'll be two ahead, right? So either that or winning two Masters 1000 and someone else winning it other than Djokovic. But he has a chance to be the outright most winning player in the history of tennis in Masters 1000, the second most important category of tournaments in tennis. The most important Grand Slams, he's tied. So there, if he was behind by one, he couldn't overtake. Like you can't just say, well, Masters 1000, I'm behind by one, but there's three. So if I have a good clay court season, I can be the most winning player ever in Masters 1000. With Grand Slams, there's only one on clay. But that also is very tight. That's why I'm saying there's so much to play for. He's tied with Grand Slams. He only needs one to be outright best. So if he wins the French Open this clay court season, he would also be outright most winning player in Grand Slam history and not sharing it. It's just him. So winning possibly two Masters 1000 and one Grand Slam here, both categories, the first and second, Nadal would have the most, and he wouldn't be sharing it. Right now, we can't say that. We can say as far as Masters 1000, it's Djokovic. As far as Grand Slams, it's Federer and Nadal tied. But a good clay court season would see Nadal with the most Masters 1000 and Grand Slams. Now, in a GOAT debate, you would think like one would have the most Masters 1000, one Grand Slam. There would be ties. It's kind of like that now. But Nadal can just shut the door on this GOAT debate. If he was to win all three Masters 1000 and the French, he's one great clay court season away from being the best player in the history, undisputed, right? And then the other thing you could say, well, despite all of that, Djokovic is beating him on the head-to-head, and he's beating Federer, right? Nadal's beating Federer too. There's only two matches between Djokovic and Nadal, and Nadal's got four more 10-6 ahead in the best of 5. So Djokovic is just 2 best of 3 set matches better, despite losing more in best of 5, right? So what would happen if they played once this clay court season? Nadal wins. Now Djokovic is 1 ahead. So what are you gonna what's the reality when the guy has won the most Masters 1000 by himself, the most Grand Slams by himself, and there's one guy who got one more best of 3 set match over him? Are we going to give it to that guy? Or are we going to give it to just say in more than 50 matches, you beat him more in best of 5, you lost one more best of 3, but you've won the most Masters 1000 and Grand Slams? Also, if they play twice, which they really could do, they're both entering in 4 tournaments: Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome, and the French Open. So if Nadal got him twice, then you could be saying that whole argument that it's Djokovic because Djokovic is a good matchup with Nadal. He's won more in the head-to-head. That could be completely taken off the table, taken off the record. So now you could have their head-to-head tied, Nadal and Djokovic, but Nadal has both categories, Grand Slams and Masters 1000. So it's not like saying, oh, you've got the Masters 1000, I've got the Grand Slams. No, if Nadal has a good clay court season, he could have the most in both and not even be tied in any way with anyone. And it not be just Grand Slams or Masters 1000, it's both. And he could wipe away Djokovic leading the head-to-head too. So there's so much. And what about if they met 3 times? Now, this whole argument that Djokovic leads the head-to-head, Nadal could lead it. Nadal could be 1 ahead. The best case is if they met in all 4 tournaments for Nadal, he won all 4, he led the head-to-head by 2. But there's a decent chance Nadal could tie their head-to-head and be ahead in the head-to-head, and only 1 behind in the Masters 1000 by winning 2 or 3, be the all-time leader and be tied with no one in Masters 1000, and by winning the French Open, whatever happens, he'll be standalone 21 Grand Slams, the most in Grand Slams. Some people say, oh, what about this week's at number 1? Well, guess what? The years at number 1, if you take out last year, which was a different ranking system, you kept the points from the previous year, and then you didn't play all the tournaments. Well, if you take out that, Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic are tied. Sampras has got 1 more. So that's why I'm saying, like the weeks at number 1, yeah. So let's just look at that for a moment, right? They're tied at year-end number 1s, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, with Sampras at 1 more. But the reason why Federer and Djokovic have more weeks at number 1 is because in the years that Nadal and Djokovic and Federer got their year-end number 1s, like Federer had some of those years where he didn't just end the year number 1 and battling with Nadal and Djokovic at their best, and the rankings always changing, and you end year number 1. Well, yeah, he had years like that. Djokovic had years like that, but Djokovic had 2015 and 16 where he could get every week for 2 years. Federer and Nadal, their game was off, so he could just say, in those 2 years, I'm not just battling with guys, all the weeks are adding up to me. Whereas before 2008, when Nadal and Djokovic weren't really there in any kind of a serious way, all Federer's years at number 1, he got almost every single week because there's no competition. So that's basically why Federer and Djokovic have more weeks at number 1, because they had years where they were the only one playing well. So they didn't just get a year-end number 1 credited, they got every week in that year. For Federer, sort of 2005 through to probably 2004 to 2008, just like getting all those weeks but that's just saying like there's no one else to compete. So I'm not just getting the year in number 1, I'm getting all the weeks. So because I did that, I'm the best of all time. Whereas when Nadal's doing it, every year is like that for him. He doesn't have even 2 or 3 years like they had, where I'm the best player that year, but I get all of the weeks. Because when he was 20, Federer was 25 at his peak, right? So they're battling, it's changing. Then later, Federer gets older, but 2011 through to now, it's been Djokovic, so it's changing with him. There's never a time where Djokovic and Federer were not doing well, and Nadal could just get all the weeks. And then, of course, the injuries. When you have injuries, you're not. It's going to hugely affect your weeks at number one. But what I'm trying to say is, like, when the year they've all been playing well, if you look at that period, they've got the same weeks at number one, the same years at number one. But a few of the years, Djokovic played well and no one else was playing well, so he got every week. And he didn't just get 1 year credited as a year in number one; he get all the weeks from those years, right? Same with Federer, 2004 to 2008. By playing well, but having no one else to compete. But in the years when all three played well, or at least even two of the three, the number one is changing. So you may get the year in number one, you don't get a lot of weeks. So for Nadal, there wasn't that period where none of them were playing well. But Federer got it before 2008. Djokovic got it sort of end of 2014 through 2015 and 16. So that's just a measure of playing well when others aren't, which is actually easier anyway because you don't get competition. For the year in number one, the three of them are tied. But like, if you don't have the most Masters of 1,000 or Grand Slams either, you can't claim to be the best of all time. Maybe if you have one of the two and you have the head-to-head or something like that. But Nadal is playing to be outright number one in both of them this clay court season. So if he does that, he will be the undisputed GOAT at that time. Right now, he doesn't have it. He has tied with Federer, one behind in the Masters of 1,000 with Djokovic, but he's playing to be outright number one in both Masters of 1,000 and Grand Slams. He's also playing to say, I'm that whole advantage Djokovic has over me by winning the head-to-head. If I can beat him twice on clay, I can tie that. If I can beat him 3 times, I can be ahead in the head-to-head. So much to play for Nadal. He can be the GOAT by having just one more clay court season. So that's just about how this clay court season with the Masters of 1,000, Djokovic won ahead of him, the Grand Slam battle tied, and then the head-to-head with Djokovic just 2 matches ahead. Great chance to meet twice on clay or 3 times. So then all of that is at stake. Right now, he's not the undisputed GOAT, but if he's best in Grand Slams, Masters of 1,000, you won't be able to say, if you're Djokovic, well, I did better at 250s and 500. I made more Masters of 1,000 finals or Grand Slam finals and lost. If Djokovic doesn't have the head-to-head anymore, and Nadal has the most Masters of 1,000 and Slams, and it's not even tied in any of them, it's just him. He is the GOAT. But now it's Djokovic in Masters of 1,000. He's tied with Federer, but he is playing for the GOAT status to take away Djokovic's head-to-head advantage. Most Masters of 1,000, most slams. So that's why I say he's chasing history. So this clay court season, this 2021, historic stuff. So now let's take a look at the clay court season. We've got Federer. I'm going to play a couple of ones, but really, Nadal's going to be the favorite, the clear favorite in all of them, except possibly Madrid, right? The next category is the 3 guys that can win it, if it's not Nadal. The 3 guys that have like 99% of chances to win tournaments, unless it's a smaller tournament where they're not playing, is Nadal, Djokovic, and Thiem, right? When Nadal is playing Thiem, what we have is Thiem actually loves the time of a slow court. He can set up for the big ground strokes. He has the ability to hit through Nadal, and he has the speed like Nadal does to run down everything, and it may be even better because he's younger. And then he maybe even he needs the time like Nadal to set up for the big ground strokes, and he maybe even has more ability to hit through a slower court. And he likes to hit with topspin. The slower court is good for both. But what gets Thiem in their rivalry on clay is it's not just slow; it's slow and higher bouncing. So Nadal gets the top spin high to his one-handed backhand, causes him a problem. Whereas Nadal and Djokovic, it's the slowness of the court, not really the higher bounce, because Djokovic has got the two-handed backhand. So if you look at the French Open final last year, you could see Nadal has time to set up for his big forehand, run around the backhand, hit a lot of forehands, and overpower Djokovic with the forehand. Whereas Djokovic struggles with that big weapon to get through Nadal's defenses. Nadal can get back all of Djokovic's serves, mostly even first serves, force him into rallies on his service points, right? So the whole thing, what he does on a faster court, Djokovic, uses his serve to control the point, and then it's a rally with him in control. Attack Nadal's second serve, put him on the back foot, a rally is in control. It's easy to end the point on a faster court, but on a clay court, the serve, Nadal can get it back deep and get in a 50-50 rally. He needs to hit through Nadal's defense from the back when he's not in control. He can't on Nadal's service game. He can't attack the second serve, be in control of the point, and be inside the baseline because he can't do that because that attacking second of the second serve, the court's slower. Nadal has time to react and get the next ball deep. So Nadal's forcing him into 50-50 rallies on his serve, and it's basically these long 50-50 rallies. Slow court, great defender on both sides. Who can hit through the slow court? Great defense. Nadal has all the time in the world to set up for his big forehand. You can't take his time away, but Djokovic doesn't have the power to get through the slow court and Nadal's defense. But then when it's Thiem and Nadal, it's a case of Thiem can hit through Nadal. Thiem wants the time for the big ground strokes. They can both hit through each other, but they also are both hard to hit through each other because they're both fast. Thiem might even be a bit better defender now, so the slowness will help him. And then with the time to set up, he may even have a bit more power. But like I said, it's slow and high bouncing. Nadal can get the ball to kick up to his one hand backhand, get a short ball, then Nadal will take over the rally. So then that's the issue with Thiem there, the high bounce. And we're going to be playing later into summer as Roland Garros has changed. So there could be more of an issue of high bouncing balls for Thiem. Thiem versus Djokovic. Djokovic again has the problem. It's a fast guy, a great defender, hard to get through the defense, whereas Thiem has time to set up for the big ground strokes, can get through Djokovic's defense, and I think it's just about that, really, that side of it. But if Thiem is playing well and mentally okay and not feeling the pressure of a final, he'll be favourite against Djokovic. Nadal will be favourite against both of them. Thiem has more to hurt Nadal if he has a good day and he's on, because he has the power to hit through Nadal. Rublev is a player who can, a fourth guy, may not be ready this year to challenge guys like Nadal and Thiem and the others, but I think just the power that he can consistently hammer 3, 4, 5 shots and that kind of Nadal Thiem type power, and he could hit through Nadal's defense or Thiem's defense, and but have the consistency of Djokovic by hitting the ball in a rally, but actually the power to get through a clay court and Nadal's defense, and maybe even take a bit of time where Nadal can't hit forehands. So he could be a possibly threat, but as far as the power to really unsettle Nadal on a clay court and get through this slow court and Nadal's defense, Rublev and Thiem have that opportunity. But Djokovic, he really doesn't have the firepower to do it, and we saw that, last year. We also saw the year before that he couldn't even get to Nadal in the final because Thiem was better. So I would really say that Nadal is going to be favourite in these. Thiem second favourite and Djokovic third favourite. But Rublev could give a challenge to Nadal, but I think it's going to be more likely next year. Nadal will be a year older and game dropped off a bit. Rublev will be better, but Rublev really wants the time to set up and use his power. And if you have power to hit through Nadal, but you can't stay in a rally, you don't have the patience, you don't have a chance. But Rublev has the ability to hit 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots, be consistent in a rally, but hitting it with extreme power to get through Nadal's defense here, and even Thiem and Djokovic. So I think he's going to come in the mix next year. This year he'll probably bring some kind of a challenge. So why does Nadal dominate this surface, right? What is it about his game, right? Well, firstly, it's the fact that, like, if it's a faster court, you can just win with your serve and make him rally on his serve. And if he wins rallies, we're just going on serve, right? But on this type of situation, Nadal stands so far back, the court's so slow, he can get all your serves back and force you to win rallies with him on a clay court to hold serve. So he breaks serve more than 50% of the time. So then there's that, right? You can't hit past his defense because the court's too slow. He gets everything back. So then attacking short on the point doesn't work. You can't win with your serve because he stands that far back and the ball loses power through the clay court. You can't go fast through the court to his forehand because the court's too slow. He has time to set up. So the getting past his defense, it's a problem. Stopping to have time to set up for the forehand, he always has time to do that. Even if you go to the backhand, he has time to run around the forehand and get back in position. And then the last thing is, Nadal likes to hit with topspin and get it high up. So on clay, it gets the highest up. So when you can't use your serve, you can't attack you short on the point. It's hard to get past his defense. You can't get the ball fast through the court, so he can't set up for a forehand because he has time for that. And all his balls are jumping high at you. It's extremely difficult. The only way is, like I said, if you're a rallier and you can consistently hit the point, consistently stay in the rally for a long time, but with the sort of Thiem Rublev power. Robin Soderlund did it in 2009, but Djokovic would have a better chance on the old, faster balls on a very hot day when it's playing more like a slow court. Then Djokovic sort of has more of a chance to serve, to have an impact return serve, get through the court. But like I said, now he's probably the third favourite. But like I said, there are three clear favourites. Thiem is slightly the second favourite ahead of Djokovic. But then the clear favourite of all is Nadal. He's dominated. He's won. He's the best clay court player in the history of the game. And this clay court season, if he could do it one more time, he'll have the most Masters of 1,000, the most Grand Slams, and he'll get rid of Djokovic's head-to-head advantage over him, maybe tie it or maybe even lead Djokovic in the head-to-head. So Nadal, with one more clay court season, is playing for GOAT status. It's a lot on the line. I would say when Nadal's the most favourite is Monte Carlo, Rome, and Roland Garros. Your best chance to get him is Madrid. So for Thiem and Djokovic, that's a good chance to get one. Maybe also Monte Carlo because he's had all these weeks off, so his game might not be at that unbeatable level. But look for Nadal, Djokovic, and Thiem to dominate. Look at Nadal to be the clear favourite, and then Thiem and Djokovic on a similar level. And look at Thiem to be slightly ahead of Djokovic. And look at a place to get an important tournament this clay court season is Madrid, where Nadal doesn't do as well and it's faster, and Djokovic can get his serve through, his shots through the court more like he does on a hard court, possibly beat Nadal with his style he uses on grass hard court indoors. And Thiem also does better than Nadal, like on a slow hard court when they meet lately. 2018 challenged him a lot at the US Open. He beat him at the 2020 Australian Open. He beat him at the World Tour Finals last year, 2020. So that's their best chance, but they're always just behind Nadal. Sinner also has the power to get through the court. He challenged and gave Nadal's toughest match at the French Open last year. So he threatened hitting Nadal in a way Djokovic couldn't. Why? Because he had the power to get through. He had the power to get through a slow court and take the time away like Djokovic could do on a fast court, but Rublev can do it, and particularly Thiem, with more consistency to be in long rallies. Sinner, it's going to be hard to stay in those long rallies on a clay court, but in the future, he could be there. So that's my review. But Nadal is chasing undisputed GOAT status this clay court season. So look out for that, and look out for Nadal, Thiem, and Djokovic battling it out. Also, like I said, the French Open is later. It's going to be hotter, higher bouncing, so then that's an issue. In Monte Carlo, it'll be about Djokovic and Nadal, so that no Thiem won't be involved. Then we're going to see who's the second guy on clay in Belgrade, because we'll have Thiem and Djokovic going at it there. Nadal will be able to win one at Barcelona without either one there. And then Madrid, like I said, best chance to upset Nadal for everyone, but especially Thiem and Djokovic. And then Rome, it's a bit easier than Barcelona, Monte Carlo. But Monte Carlo will be a bit easier because Nadal hasn't played for weeks. Only played the Australian Open since November last year. So that's it. That's my preview of the 2020 clay court season. Enjoy the tennis, enjoy the red dirt or crushed brick, actually. Subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. I'll come back for my Monte Carlo preview Monday or Sunday night, depending where you are in the world. So I'll be back for that. But subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. Have a great day or night. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.